Hello and welcome to Cosmic Smashbooking. In this lesson, we're going to be building our Cosmic Smashbook. I'd like to begin with an act of intention of lighting a candle. This candle signifies the light within me greeting the light within you. Our connection together to light the way for our time together. Right now, or when you get to building your book, take a deep breath to center yourself into this moment. To be ready and clear to create your book. The thing that makes Cosmic Smashbooking cosmic is the intention that we infuse throughout our process. Setting our intention and acting with intention in our book is the cornerstone of a Cosmic Smashbook. By setting our intention, we are showing that we are willing to be here, that we're going to be present, that we're open to inquiry, and open to the messages that might come through. And we're going to write our intention or inquiry on the cover of our book. So your intention or inquiry might start with the words, help me to, and then you fill in the blank. Help guide me, help lead me, what am I not seeing right now? Reveal to me what I need to know about, blank. Your intention is unique to you. So over one theme, you could have many different intentions. Which one is calling to you right now? This Smashbook is based on the Desire Map, and it's all about finding your essence, your core desired feelings, and using those to build the life you love. So for me, my intention that I'm writing on my book is help me to choose to feel my core desired feelings and help me to use those to create goals and make decisions that light me up from the inside. And then I sign it, Love, Jennifer. Now we're ready to add the covers to our books. There's a couple ways to do this. One would be to take some paper like scrapbook paper that's already decorated, tape it together, and then you're going to fold the cover around the book. And the instructions for that will come a little later. But I'm going to be using watercolor paper that's already cut down to the size to be about 1 inch around the edges of the book. If you weren't going to use paints and wanted to use regular paper to make a cover for your book, you could also do that and then tape it together just like you would for the scrapbook paper. So my watercolor paper is all set up, and I've got a palette on the side in case I need it. I've got my water and my colors out. Baron is definitely interested in getting his paws right in there. So I laid down a lot of water, and I'm just letting the paint flow. The colors that I'm picking are inspired by the Desire Map book with purples and pinks and oranges and yellows. But you can choose any colors that you'd like. Anything that calls to you or makes you feel expansive or excited. Think about what colors those might be for you. And you can pick maybe 3 colors or more if you're comfortable. And just play with design and splatters. Let's just get something down on our page. Once your cover is dry or ready, it's time to start folding it around your book. So I put my book in where I'd like it, and then I begin to fold around the edges of the book. You could also trace your book and fold it along the lines that you make. Once I get the start of the creases in, I can take the book out and fold it really well. You could use a bone folder or a marker to push your edges down to fold them really well. And if you don't want to glue your cover on to your notebook, you can slide the edges right into your folds, and there you have it. Your cover is on. But if you want to go one step farther, we can glue it right onto the book. If you want to attach your cover with some adhesive, we're going to do that right now. You'll need some scissors and glue or double-sided tape. I use a glue stick in this video. If you are attaching your cover with adhesive, you may need to give your folds a little bit more space, because sometimes it can make your cover too tight and curl your book. So it's just something to be aware of and check in on as you're gluing your book down. You might need to adjust some of your folds. So the first thing we'll need to do is give it a little more space around the spine. So I cut it on the top and the bottom just so I can fold that down, and you might actually have to cut a little chunk out. Next, come over to the corner of your book and you'll see that there is a square where you folded it, and you're just going to cut along those fold lines. That way when we glue it down, we don't have as much paper in the way, and you can just take it right out. And we're going to do that on all four corners. Once you have all the areas cut, you can close up your book and make sure that it's still closing nicely, and then you're ready for some glue. I'm using a glue stick, and it does tend to pop up if you don't hold it down. So put lots of glue down, hold it with your hands. You can use another item to really push that fold down, and give it a minute to dry before letting it go. Next, I'm going to take the first page of the book, crumple it up, and I'm going to glue it to the front of my book. That way the seams of our cover are hidden a bit. And then I go to the back of the book, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Now I've noticed on mine that it's starting to curl a bit on me, so I'm adjusting my fold at the back of the book to give it a bit more space, so that when I shut my book, it's not curling on me. I don't mind if it does it a little bit, but sometimes the book feels too tight, so I give it a little bit more. You can decide on your book if it needs that or not. So same process, gluing it down, pushing it down with a marker or something hard, and then I'm going to crumple the back page and glue it on the back. And if you want it, if it's still curling on you, you can hold it down with some heavy items. And then when it's dry and ready, you can open it up. Now it's time to do some work inside the book. So what I'm doing is I'm going through and gluing every second page together. So at the end of it, you'll have double thick pages all through your book. If you happen to glue 3 together, it's not a big deal. You might end up with an extra page at the back, and you can just glue that onto another and make a set of 3. But what we're doing is giving the pages a little bit more reinforcement. We're also putting our energy into each page of the book because we're touching every page. I like to make an X and put a block around it. Some people like to use symbols. I know I've used Reiki symbols sometimes just to put a little bit more energy into the book. Once your pages are glued and dried, we're moving into crumpling up the paper. Now this might seem a little scary, you might feel a little reluctant to do it, but I highly suggest that you try. What this is doing is, it serves a couple purposes. One is to help release that inner perfectionist so that our pages aren't perfect and crisp, so that when we create, we're not worried about wrecking the book. The other purpose is to release the energy of the pages. This paper was once a tree. It's gone through much processing and passed through many hands, and we're releasing that. And the other reason is that Cosmic Smash booking uses our 5 senses. So we've done the sight with our colors. Now when we crumple it, we can do hearing. Next, I'm going to add some color to the pages. I'm using acrylic paint and watering it down just a touch so that it goes smoothly over the edges. And this serves a couple purposes. One is for aesthetics, for beauty, but also it will help hold those pages together that you just glued. You can use one color, you could use gold, you could mix a few together. I'm using turquoise and fluorescent pink, and then I go over it with the gold. Again, I've mixed the paint with a little bit of water to help it smooth over the pages a bit. And then I can't help myself, but afterwards I splatter some gold on the cover too. Once it's dry, you're going to want to go through and separate your pages, finding every 2. Some of them might be hard to find depending on how the paint came together. So sometimes I start from the front and then I get confused about what pages are stuck together, and then I'll go to the back and work back through that way. And eventually, if something does come unglued, you can always glue it back together. Now it's time to add some ribbon. So I have 5 ribbons, and they're all cut to the size so that they can wrap around the book and be tied at the top. You're going to want to find the center of your book, which is where the stitching is, and tie on your first ribbon nice and tight. Then you're going to want to go, depending on the size of your book, 5 to 7 pages, and put another ribbon. And then go back again 5 or 6 pages and tie on another ribbon. So basically you'll have 5 ribbons at regular intervals throughout your book. And again, one is for beauty, but also will help hold your book together. I typically like to start at the center and then work my way out to the outer edges. It doesn't have to be exact, but just roughly so that you have them all divided up. If you wanted to, you could even add charms to your ribbons that would hang off your book. Now we're going into sense of smell. So choose a smell that you like. I'm using an essential oil. I'm using lavender and dabbing it on some of the pages and some of the ribbons. And then for taste, I've got a candy wrapper here from a chocolate that I'm going to glue on the pages, on one page. And I'm just picking it at random, and eventually it will become a part of something in the book. Now to finish it off, I'm going to add a pocket, and I'm taking a piece of scrapbook paper and cutting it to the size of my page. Next, I'm using a ruler to draw a line from the corner to the edge, where I'm going to cut across. I'm using clear packing tape and trimming it down to size as I go. I'm not one for perfection, so I just kind of go with it. You could also use double-sided tape or glue on the inside, but I find that takes away the amount of space you have in your pocket. Then I take the other corner of the page and I glue it down to the top just to fill the page with that same paper. And then you have a pocket that you can put your notes or scraps in, or items that you find that you might not be ready to put in your book yet but want to save for another time. And now you have a cosmic smash book where we used our 5 senses to create a container for all that we're going to put in there.